Korean War was a war between capitalism and communism. South Korea was allied with the United Nations in their capital views on running a nation, while North Korea was allied with countries such as Russia and China in their communist views. Russia and North Korea were allies during the Cold War that followed after World War II. Russia believed in a communist government. South Korea and the United Nations were allies during the Cold War and the Korean War. The United Nations believed a nation should be ran in a capitalist form. Russia and China were North Korea's main suppliers as far as weaponry and military assistance went. China ended up assisting North Korea with troops towards the middle and end of the war. Segments of the United Nations, such as the USA, provided a lot of support for South Korea. They provided them with weapons and military from the start of the war. Syngman Rhee was elected President of South Korea in May of 1948. They elected him President of the Republic of Korea. Kim Il-sung was elected President of the Democratic People of Korea in North Korea soon after Syngman Rhee was elected President of the Republic of Korea. General Douglas MacArthur was in charge of the military fighting for South Korea. It was known as the Korean People's Army. He had seen war before and was known to be a very smart tactician. Chung Yong-gon was in charge of North Korea's army, the Republic of Korea Army. He was also known for being very smart when it came to battle planning. The Korean War began in Ongjin in 1949. Many skirmishes between the South and North occurred. The actual battle started on June 25th, but no side knows for sure which side shot first. This was where the North was able to push through a hole into South Korea to begin their invasion. Due to miscommunication, the ROKA forces were pushed out of Ongjin, leaving American troops fighting alone in Ongjin. This left a huge, gaping hole for the North to capture Seoul and a successful invasion into the South. When the ROKA forces lost the big battle on Ongjin, this sparked the Americans to truly get involved in the war. Dean Acheson, the Secretary of State, made the decision to send in air and ground support to Korea. The ROKA was completely backed up to the Yellow Sea. Fortunately, America was sending in more troops and supplies. American air support was also able to slow the enemy supply lines. This provided enough time for General MacArthur to come up with his plan. Operation Chromite was the turning point in the Korean War. When troops had been completely replenished, General MacArthur proposed a very daring idea. His idea was to send in an amphibious unit very deep into enemy lines in the port city of Incheon. It wasn't just daring because of where it was located. The port was also very difficult to get to and required incredible precision. The channel was a very narrow route and was completely inaccessible at low tide. The North Koreans were completely caught off guard with this invasion. It was a huge success for the ROKA. Once this was successful, the Americans pushed out and started fighting towards Incheon, creating a pinch on the North Koreans. The North Koreans were eventually forced to retreat back over the 38th parallel. The KPA found themselves on the defense and the ROKA on the offense. Air support played a crucial part in winning battles. For the first time, the South was winning the war. The Communists, on the other hand, were frantic. They could not let capitalism get a grasp on both North and South Korea. After the South invasion, there was no other logical choice for the Communists than to let the Chinese help the KPA directly. China sent in troops to help defend North Korea and the last bit of remaining Communist control. Eventually, the United States ordered its army to pull out of North Korea. America felt like their job had been done in making sure that South Korea did not fall to communism. General MacArthur did not appreciate this. He wanted to move troops back into North Korea and finish the war. The president was against this, so they replaced General MacArthur with General Matthew Ridgway. General Van Fleet was the last general in charge of the Korean War for the American side. He became general in April of 1951 when General Matthew Ridgway stepped down. Van Fleet completely agreed with MacArthur, and the Americans and South Koreans should have pushed for the win. At the end of the Korean War, there were definitely more cons than pros. Neither side really gained anything. What was lost on both sides were precious money and resources. The communists remained in control of the north side, and the capitalists kept the south.